Hey everyone, so you might remember this creation from, well, the thumbnail kind of showed its best side, we'll say. But this is the car that I made to kick off 2021, and it's definitely a gift, as it says, especially the front end, which looks like Wario had a stroke. But despite this car being purposefully bad, it does have some good ideas, and I kind of want to fix it, so yeah, I'll fix it. Especially this front end. Let's make it actually good and see what I can do in terms of a rocket-powered car, or at least the thematically accurate rocket-powered car. I've got a lot of work to do, I'm going to tell you that right now. So in order to make this better, I have to go all the way back here because I think, I don't know, it's already negative 15 quality. I'm just going to make this thing crazy. I have not made a plus 15 quality everything car in a long time. So let's go carbon fiber, let's go monocoque, let's go carbon fiber. We want the lightest thing possible. It was previously 3,700 and something kilos. It's probably going to go down to like 1,500 now, so it's going to be way quicker. Here's the big one. We got a rocket ship thing hanging out the back, so I actually want to try and do a rear longitudinal engine. I know it's not going to fit, but I'll just have to make a new one. I want to see what that looks like in the back, and I might end up changing it to be mid or front, depending on how things go here. Now this engine is way too big, and even the smallest V16 is way too long, which is very unfortunate. Let me try V6. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we can get away with maybe a 3-ish liter V6. Let me see what that looks like though. Okay, so with the fixtures hidden, it looks like this. You put the body back on and there's a big cutout there. And then putting the fixtures back on, you can see the engine inside of here, which I don't know if I like. However, that's actually not too bad. It's thematically accurate because the engine would be in the back, so I just kind of have to decide if that's what I want to do or not. And we'll have to put something there to cover that up so it can't be seen. But yeah, we can also do a big intake out the front too, that'll be interesting. So I'm okay with that. Okay, so I've been really favoring high RPM cars lately, so I'm going to make this a 2.35 liter. It's going to be a V6 because this is the engine that fits the best, I think. I could do a boxer, but inlines don't really work, and well, I mean V8's just a little bit too big. It would have to be a really tiny V8, so I think this is kind of the best compromise. I'm going with VVL, and I am going to try to get VVT on there as well. This thing is going to be a powerhouse, hopefully. It's going to have a lot of power, a little bit too much probably. Now the car was previously built for high RPM, but as you can see, it only makes 48 horsepower at the moment. Okay, so the car makes 410 horsepower at 7,600 RPM, and that is with major overdrive here. This is a lot of RPM limit that we don't actually need, but we have the option to do because our stresses here are so high, which is great. Or the stresses are low, but the stress capability is high, I should say. The way I have it set up is not ideal, obviously. I got some work to do, there's no doubt about that. We're still using the same tune as the V16. I just had to tweak the turbo to make it actually work. But yeah, I'm just going to fix that with direct injection, per cylinder with race preset, and ultimate fuel. That's looking a lot more modern. This thing is totally aluminum and hopefully actually good. That's the main goal here. I think that this look here is a lot nicer for it. Basically these are steel that's wrinkled black, and then this is carbon fiber. A little bit nicer than the leather that was there before. But now that it looks good, I think it's time to make it have some power. Basically I changed it up just a little bit, so it's making 280 horsepower, but we have a lot of octane to work with, so here we go. There we go, 582 horsepower. That's looking interesting. There's not much room under the curve here. You want to see a bit more of an arch, but yeah, that's a lot of power. My goodness, this is a really high revving engine. 1200 RPM really put to good use, which is nice. That's definitely what I want to see. Okay, so I upped the cam profile just to give it a bit more of a boost in the low end because it was kind of just nothing, which isn't great. We're using 95 octane now. I think it's just down to the turbo tuning and whatever else is going on here, and we should be good. Alright, I'm calling it right there. 700 horsepower, I think that's good to go. I basically tuned every aspect. I know I can get more power, but I'm fairly happy with that because one of the issues that the car had before was terrible wheel spin, and I know that it had a lot more power before, but it's going to be way, way lighter now. So having a cool 700 horsepower is going to make this thing bloody quick, at least I hope so. And also we're going all-wheel drive as well. Okay, so the car currently looks like this, and obviously it can't stay this way. There's some work that needs to be done, specifically on this entire front end. I need to redo that. The sides are pretty crappy. The fact that the entire car is made out of leather or basketball skin is not doing so good, and I really just want to clean up this back end because I think it has potential. It just needs work, quite a bit of work actually. The interior and all that is fine, it's just the colors and the like obviously scene stuff. Yeah, this is where it really needs help, so I'm gonna try and make this end look good and then try to make this end match it. And trust me, I'm not gonna get it, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I actually kind of like these double wheels, and we can actually have much bigger wheels now that we have a lot lighter weight, so let's go ahead with that. First thing though is to get rid of this leather. Obviously it can't stay. I'm just gonna paint it regular paint color and immediately it looks better. Okay, I've got some excellent news. The car in black looks immediately better. It hides a lot of the flaws with it. It's just way, way better. I'm very, very happy with that. I'm gonna give it some accent stuff on the back, or I might just leave it black, I don't know. But that is looking really, really good. Just ignore all this. This is looking really, really good. Maybe I can just paint those. No, you know what? I'm gonna have to change the entire front end, but this also here I'm gonna need to change. Everything else though is looking pretty darn good. What I've been doing so far though, I'm just kind of messing with the ride height a little bit. The wheels themselves are massive diameter, so I'm just gonna shrink them down a little bit because I don't think they need to be that big. And that'll help a little bit with the clipping on these wheel arches, especially on the back. You can see we're having issues though. I'll figure that out. Okay, before we even get to the like driveline stuff, I've just done a couple quick tweaks to make the car look a little bit different. We have a front diff now because it is all-wheel drive, and we have somehow shed 1,700 kilos, which is a significant amount. Plus, we're gonna be even less because say goodbye to back seats, say goodbye to these fancy seats. Actually, maybe it'll be a little bit nicer. And yeah, top quality and all this stuff. Hopefully it doesn't get too heavy now. Okay, so with the car lowered down as low as I'd like it to be, there is some major clipping here on the body panels. I actually can't cut these out, which is really unfortunate. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that yet, but we'll work on it. Basically, this car is kind of open wheel now, which is really awesome, but anyways. Okay, I kind of found an alternate solution, which is put the wheels out as far as they'll go, and then the car becomes an open wheel on its own, and look at that, that is really nice. I'm really liking the change here. This is a full-on Cyberpunk rocket car now, isn't it? Okay, I'm kind of debating on whether or not I can make these pieces carbon fiber and get away with it. I've made this entire piece here carbon fiber, just the stock carbon fiber. But I'm not sure about that yet. Like, it definitely doesn't look bad. It might look a little bit weird in Beam, but the entire car, other than that, is now blacked out and looking pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. I'm impressed with this, but I do have to fix these door handles too, man oh man. Some of the choices that I made on this car, I'm questioning myself a little bit too much, perhaps. It's Cyberpunk to the core, and I haven't even played the game. Okay, I've been experimenting with different colors, and I've come up with this color here. Basically, it's just a darker version of the carbon fiber. So I'm going to use that for all of the like accent panels, I guess you could say. So stuff like these door handles, which I will probably switch. I'm just going to make them carbon fiber for now, and then probably forget to switch them, but that's just part of the deal. Okay, all these intakes on the top, not the worst idea, but I'm going to get rid of them. And then these things here that I made as well, I'm going to get rid of those. And then all of this has gotta go, I think. Wario, say goodbye. We don't need you anymore, do we? Now I have a big piece here that's cutting out the front of these wheels, but I think I might get rid of that and we'll have to do something else, a little bit more custom perhaps, because that wasn't really looking that good. And then same thing with these side ones, I think I can do better than that, although I am going to leave these pieces here just because they look really good. Although they aren't quite big enough. I'm noticing some daylight through there. I'm gonna have to fix that too. Okay, that's better. No more daylight through the side skirts. That's pretty important. I don't know how I didn't notice that before. Admittedly, I was getting a little bit delirious working on that last version of this, just a little bit. Something else that's on my mind is the exhaust pipes that are in here. I don't know how the heck I'm going to grab them because there's so many fixtures around this, but I do want to twist those ever so slightly. Maybe we can kind of fake them in the back here, that would be cool. Because I want those fiery pops and exhaust gases to come right out the back of this thing. That would be amazing. Okay, so I just spent like 10 minutes focusing on the back end here, trying to narrow things down just a little bit. In some ways, literally. Basically, I didn't like how that one piece was fitting here, so I added a second one and I hid them both so they're kind of just pointing out from behind the lights. They're supposed to be gapped like this. I don't know if I'm going to fix that or not to change that to make them connect, but as it stands, that looks really, really clean. I'm very, very down with that. I think what I need to do though is just kind of make a bit of an archway to come over top of half the wheel and then have this kind of point here be a real cutoff. Other than that though, the back end might be done. It's looking pretty darn sweet. I just have to find that exhaust in there. Still can't manage to grab it for some reason. It's just kind of hidden deep in here in the lost world of wherever the heck this is. Okay, so the exhausts are now sticking out of there, which is exactly what I wanted. And the thing is that, well, it doesn't even look that bad just hanging out back there. I think this is going to work because this will actually mean the exhaust is going to point this way, which is really cool. And you can still kind of see the engine back there, so what I'm going to do, and this is going to be a bit funky, but I'm just going to put a grill right in front of the both of them, just one of these right here, and then, yeah, we'll kind of have to figure it out after that. Okay, that's way, way better there. Basically, I have that little grill piece hiding this thing, and then I have dog tape over that as well, so it's all, like, cut out nicely, and then I removed that inner piece there because it was just not really working for what I want here, so yeah, overall, it's really coming together. It's coming together much, much nicer than I thought it would, which is good, because now we have a jet car, kinda, just a little bit. Overall, though, man oh man. My goodness. Okay, I think I might be done with this for now. I keep saying that, but then I keep thinking of other ideas for it, like, I'm having too much fun here, just a little bit too much. When I'm at work, like my actual job, I want to come home and do stuff like this. That's kind of my goal in the current state of things. Like, I'm bored at work, come home, make cool stuff. That's exactly how it goes. Okay, maybe I took it a little bit too far, but I'm really liking these back lights. They almost look like wings and they have depth to them. It's just cool. Oh man, okay, hold on a minute. Before I get too nuts on this, I still have to do a front end. It still doesn't have anything. Okay, before I get too far, before I get too carried away, let me actually fix this car in the fenders that it currently has issues with. I'm just gonna quickly slap some 3D pieces on here and make it look a little bit nicer, just a little bit more fluid. That's the goal, at least. Okay, that's all I got for that. It's really, really difficult to cut out this fender, mostly because the tape doesn't work well on curved surfaces. I'm still mastering that. I still have some work to do. Yeah, I've got a lot of work to do, but that does look ever so slightly better. It's a little bit more flowing, and I think I need to do the same thing up here. Well, since we have a ridiculous jet engine back end, I think we can make the front in a very similar way, including, but not limited to, the same things that are on the back on the front. They're gonna look good though, trust me. Okay, so I basically realigned the entire car just to make these fenders work, and they kind of work. I mean, they're okay. I just have to fill in the rest of the car, but she wide. She really wide now, my goodness. I just kind of felt like using these as fenders instead of the ones I've been using, because, well, they're kind of used already on the back of the car. But it's gonna be hard to get this kind of style again up here, so I'm gonna try my best. Let me see if I can make something very futuristic. This is a real Cyberpunk car now. I really did not intend for this, but here we are. Rocket Cyberpunk car? Why not? So the engine is in the back, which means that we don't really need much in terms of, well, we don't need a grill on the front is what I'm trying to say. So I think I'm going to try and make the front end without a grill and see how that goes, if that's even possible. We're going to have to probably put in a fake one like early Teslas, but we'll see. Now the headlights are extremely important, as you would think, mostly because they draw this entire thing together. And also, I know that these are overlapping and they're not quite straight, but that's okay. That's kind of part of the allure. At least that's what I'm telling myself. There you go, that's a little bit better. And you can see it lines up perfectly with this big splitter on the front. Very, very nice. So if I'm going to do headlights without having any grill on the front, I'm probably going to need to make my own. So let's go ahead with some of the modular ones and see what I can do here. Or I could just put these back on, whatever you like. Now for real though, this is my design. I'm doing what I want, and what I want is to go to bed. Oh yes, okay. That is gonna work perfect. I just gotta put some stuff inside of them and we'll be good to go here. So you know that part in any project where you're like, man, I've put so much effort into this, but it's really not quite what I wanted, but I put so much effort into it that I'm just gonna go with it anyways? Yeah, so I finished the headlights, and they're sort of trying to borrow a design element from the back end with the kind of LEDs that are in triple form. So it's got small lights and also big lights. That took a long time to do, I gotta say. I think it looks pretty nice though. It's I've gone for dots in the front instead of the lines that are in the back. I think it looks okay, but there's still more that I want to do to it, just to fill in some of these gaps a little bit more. And then, yeah, I'm not sure. I think we probably need some kind of big intake or something on the hood, and then that'll be that. You know what? I'm actually just going to delete the mirrors entirely. I know that, well, we'll just pretend it's from the future, okay? Mirrors, not really a thing. Okay, I'm giving in. I'm adding a grill, but it's not going to be an actual grill. It's going to be a fake grill. Haha, like all the modern cars. But I think it just adds a little bit of necessary detail to the front. Just something that I was missing before. It just needed a little extra something, and that's what I want to put on there. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. I added signals. The front end still missing some kind of intake. I gotta do something. Okay, so I'm playing with the idea of adding a massive hood scoop. I think this might actually be better suited for the roof if I was gonna do that. If I was going this route, then that could be absolutely ridiculous, but I don't know if I am. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that full commitment yet. Because I could totally just put this right over the back window and just have a full-on, like, ram air intake into the engine, big intercoolers in the back, like, cut that all up. But I'd want to keep it simple for now. I mean, I could absolutely do that. That sounds like a stream thing to do, to be honest. Maybe one day, though. And after all this work, I think it's time that I slap my label on there, because I think that's just a little bit fitting. Maybe a little bit smaller though. I don't want it to stand out too much. This is actually the second logo on this car. The other one is right here in the center console. Probably one of my favorite parts about this thing last time, but there you go. I think that's a pretty decent build. Needs a name and it needs a better driveline, and I think we'll be able to test this thing out in Beam. Okay, it's time that I went on and made this thing better to drive, not just better to look at, because my goodness, it is much, much better to look at. Still some small things here and there that could be fixed. Actually, hold on, I'm seeing one right now. Yeah, but still some small things that could be fixed, little pieces here and there that need to be recolored, a little bit more detail on the side perhaps. I did add this big intake, which I do like, but I don't love. It's okay, but it's not amazing. I think I can do better than that, but for now I think it's just the detail that the hood needed. A little bit of an air dam there, not very aerodynamic, but kind of cool. I don't know, it just adds to the overall look of the car. I'm thinking this thing is probably going to bottom out really quickly, so that's going to be interesting. But anyway, let's try and get this drivetrain done. It's all-wheel drive. I'm going to make it a sequential 7-speed. It currently estimates 384, so let's try and be realistic with that. Electric LSD, and you know what? We got to balance it for the weight distribution, don't we? Back over to the rear you go. Taking a look at the graphs, it still thinks it can do 377. Actually, it thinks it can do quite a bit more than that. 382, not bad at all, and I'm gonna up the spacing quite considerably. No wheel spin issues, which is astounding. I'm shocked. So we got radials, we got semi-slicks, we got fat tires. The ones in the front are too big. Let me shrink those down quite significantly. That's a little bit better. And we're gonna have to fix that front offset as well. Hopefully this doesn't screw it up. Okay, no, it doesn't look too bad. It's not quite as obvious that they're a lot thinner. The back end is still wide as heck though. Okay, so I think I've settled 265s in the front and 325s on the back, because you can actually see the back, so I think it's important that those show at least a little bit more. The fronts are covered up for a reason. You can't really see it. I mean, you can see the brake discs in there, they stick out, but the wheels themselves are not quite as wide as you might imagine. However, I think the car will handle a little bit better with that, so that's what I'm going to go with. And the graphs agree with me that that is a little bit better. Plus 100% sportiness, heck yes. This graph is absolutely all over the place. Don't worry about it, it's fine. So now that the wheels are dialed in, we need to figure out the brakes, and they are way too big on the front. Way too big. Okay, I'm gonna go 275 on the front, 250 on the back. Just a little bit over what we need. They're very strong, but it should be good. And it's saying that the power distribution isn't effective. What on earth? Okay, the weird part about this is it says consider a power split closer to the car's weight distribution, but I've matched the car's weight distribution perfectly, so I'm gonna consider that to be an issue with the game. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it how it was and kind of ignore that warning, and I think the brakes are gonna be fine. They're very strong, which is good. We want good brakes. Going over to downforce, we actually have downforce now because I have given it downforce. I gave it a spoiler at the back and a lip on the front, so yes, we have downforce, and we're sparing no expense here, so active wing, brake airflow, up we go. This is going to affect our top speed, but I'm not too worried about it, and I think we can probably get a bit more if we just increase these to 50, because I had to turn them down all the way for the last one. Okay, downforce at 100, that's probably not going to work, because it just, it breaks the car. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I'm not so happy with this. It's kind of weird that the car goes into understeer before it goes into oversteer. I guess that's just an all-wheel drive quirk, but yeah, that should be fine. We're going for some good stuff here. The comfort penalty is affecting our scores, but I don't particularly care. I made the car as low as possible just because I thought it would be fun. But I'm just gonna knock it down just a little bit in terms of this stuff, so we get a little bit of weight off there. And then, oh wow, the rear brakes are super weak now. What happened? Yeah, this car has a lot of weight on the back because the engine is on the back, so the rear brakes actually have to be pretty big. But I'm just gonna go ahead with these good quality things, including, oh man, advanced 20s. I don't know about that. Maybe, you know what, we'll assume it's safe-ish. On to the suspension. It is currently running a race preset, but with the lowest possible ride height. I'm going to click that again, and I'm going to lower the ride height again just to make sure. And that's looking pretty minty right there. It's not even green. The car suggestion thing is very worried about the fact that this is a race car. This game does not really like race cars sometimes. That's okay. I think it's ready to go. 1,376 kilos. Thank you, Lord, that is incredibly light, and 700 horsepower. This is going to be a rocket. Guys, I have to admit to you, I'm struggling to contain myself here because this car turned out really good. I'm very happy, although you'll notice it does have one fatal flaw in BeamNG, as a lot of the exports recently have. Its tires go flat as soon as you spawn it in, and if I spawn it in again, they'll just go flat again, which sucks. And also it's got some lines on it from the textures not quite morphing correctly, but I do have a bunch of cool screenshots of it from automation that I took. This car is really hard to photograph because it's totally black, so it just kind of sucks in all the light, and then none of the photo scenes are actually light enough for it, even the white one. It just looks like a black smear on there, but I really like it. Just looking at the car as well, I gotta say, I think I perfected the exhaust because it actually does work now. Let me show you what I'm talking about. There it is, the backfires of goodness coming right out of the pipe in the back. And even with tires that are flat, this car absolutely rips. It is incredibly fast, shockingly so. I think I've made something just a little bit better than what it was previously. I'm incredibly happy with the way it's turned out. In order to fix that wheel issue, I think I'd probably have to shrink the rims one size, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to leave it. However, because a lot of my cars have been much higher effort these days, it's taking me a longer time to make these videos, which is totally fine. I'm doing it on purpose because I like these cars way more, but I'm hoping to use them again for another purpose. So this is not the last time you will see this car. This is the last time you'll have seen the old version of it, but this version still has some stuff left to do, and just a bit of a hint for the future. But when I first tried out this car and realized how fast it is, I was pretty shocked. Even with these blown tires, this thing is shockingly quick. Far too fast for something that I've created. Usually I don't make good cars. Apparently these days I'm on a bit of a roll and I'm quite pleased with myself. And for those of you asking, yes, I did fiddle with the tire pressures in BeamNG and it just made the wheels disappear. So I'm not going to be doing that again. Oh well, okay, so let's go and try it out in something a little bit more practical. So I didn't intend for this originally, but this car is indeed a Cyberpunk car. I was not going for that at the start, but it just kind of fits that MO. Like, it really does look like it. It fills that role quite well. And it does kind of have a Supra aesthetic to it, because I know that this is the new Supra body. However, that does not affect my thinking here. Maybe it's a BMW at heart, but in this case it's cruising the deserts of Cyberpunk 2077, and I still don't have the game, so I'm just basing that off of a review I watched. I don't tend to buy games at launch, just because I don't want to shell out $80 for it, but in this case I've actually gotten something good out of that, because I don't have to deal with the bugs. I can pick up the game like in 5 years, maybe less than that, for a quarter of the price, and have many more features to work with. Yeah, that's just how it works sometimes. Patient gamers, I guess. However, there are some games that you definitely need to get, and one of them is automation. The other one is BeamNG, so you can make stuff like this. And then try and beat my Cyberpunk aesthetic. Although at this point, ooh, I am getting a lot better at building, and I'm quite pleased about that. I'm still interested to hear your opinion about these cars, though. Do you think these are better than my old cars? Are the old ones iconic in some way? I don't even know. These V6s are so blisteringly loud, it's totally blowing my eardrums a little bit, so just had to pause and turn the music down a little bit there. Music to my ears, that V6 howl. I think the car would be better, I mean, I know it would be better if it didn't have punctured tires, but as it stands, like, it drives pretty well. It just struggles with the handling part of things. I still need to work on that in terms of my design, but also if it had actual tires, maybe it would be a little bit quicker. I think I mentioned in one of my videos, specifically the one where I was talking about the latest update to this game, the big update in open beta, which introduced 3D fixture placement, and I'm going to try and paraphrase myself here when I said that it literally changes the game, and not just in an update sort of way. And I think I was right. Like, if you take a look at the previous Cyberpunk cars that people have made, they're definitely good, especially the Cyberpunk showcase cars. But 3D fixture placement has opened up such a huge range of options. Like, to be able to make something like this, even for somebody like me, who I would personally say that I'm not that great at this game, even though I have almost 200 hours in it, it's still not enough. But I think that it just opens up such an outlet for creativity. It has me excited for the future of automation even more so. And I was kind of feeling down on the game a little bit before that happened. I was worried that it was kind of slowing down, but here we are, things are sped right back up. My channel here is doing better than it ever has, and I'm very thankful for you guys sticking around to watch this stuff. And this is getting sappy now, so I better crash into something. This is BeamNG after all. How about a guide rail? Oh, missed. Okay, never mind, we're just going straight through the desert. Okay, apparently I'm getting worse at making crashing videos now. That's not something I was planning on doing. Oh, I actually survived that. Okay, apparently this car's a little bit more hardy than I gave it credit for. Driving around at the lowest possible ride height. Not really worried about anything, that's just how it goes. Doing 100 kilometers an hour airspeed on dirt, and I think that's going to get finished off in the water here. No, we're good. So yeah, what I was alluding to before is that I'm hoping to race some of my cars against each other in a bit of a challenge. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all going to be very equal, because obviously they're not. Some of them are going to be faster than others, and that's just how it goes. But I think I need to make a couple more cars, kind of see where things go, and then we'll think about doing another events type of thing if people are interested. Obviously, more showcases this year with 3D fixture placement. The mod team and I have a couple ideas. We'll be coming out with that hopefully in the near future. And yeah, is that it for this video? I think it might be. So yeah, thank you everybody for sticking around for the rocket car. If you made it this far into the video, you probably enjoyed it. At least I would hope so. Let me know in the comments, or you can subscribe to the channel to see more of this kind of stuff. I make these videos every week, and I'm gonna continue to do so. I'm back to work, so no more holidays for me. Actually, that's not true. I got another one coming up, because today is a pretty special day for me. If you're watching this Saturday at 12 o'clock or so, whenever I put it out, that is the day that I'm getting married. So very, very exciting. Got a week off after that, but I'm still gonna put out one video for you guys, I think. And then after that, I'll be back on track with the regular stuff, because yeah, sometimes I need a break, you know, sometimes important life events get in the way. But yeah, still got some cool stuff coming up. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and yeah, more Cyberpunk content in the future, maybe? Probably not. I'll take a break from it for a bit here. More rocket cars though, definitely more rocket cars. I like this aesthetic just a little bit too much, and the way that looks with the grills there, whew, that gets me going. It's time that I thank the channel supporters, specifically Overlord, QT Bear, Terry Williams, The Most Random Person, Safety Cars and Stuff, Paradoxical, GA Pope, Davis, the German Dude. Thank you guys for following me into 2021 as we move forward here. Guys, let me know what you think of these creations. And I was thinking of adding another tier to the join button, but I am still struggling to think of the right way to reward you guys. I know these shoutouts are one thing, but I want to do more, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think. So I'll see you guys again next time.